Alright, hello again guys. Welcome back to the Authentic Lee channel. I'm Lee Collins, and my mission is to bring you closer to your center, closer to that version of yourself that is most true to you. So, if you're watching this, you're probably in a space where you're starting to shed that old version of yourself and step into the new. And so I'm here to help with that. Let me ask you something. What is it that you're afraid of losing? What is it that you think that if you lose, in order to step into that new version of yourself, that is going to hurt so much? I'll share a little bit of my journey with you. In 2025, essentially my entire life had fallen apart. What the tarot readers would call a tower moment, I had in every aspect of my life. I'm talking the career I had for more than 11 years. From when I started high school to the age of 30. I'm talking the relationship I had for 5 years, the family I built for 5 years, fell apart. I'm talking the home I was living in, gone. Every aspect, home, family, career, wiped off the table in less than a year. It's not even 2026 yet. It was less than a year, really. More so over the spring and the summer. And let me tell you something. For years before that, I had spent so much time in suffering because I wasn't being true to who I should have been. I wasn't being true to what my heart wanted to express to the world. And this was in part due to things, situations from the past that needed healing. This was due to not knowing myself deep enough, not understanding myself deep enough, not looking within enough, not going deep enough in to actually know who it is I genuinely wanted to be. When we visualize our life in these ideal circumstances, a lot of the time we look at superficial things first. We look at the homes, we look at the cars, a lot of the time visualize ourselves in roles, but it's always at times of highs, of making the big sales, of being in inspiring moments, not looking at it from the whole picture. What truly fulfills you? Do you actually know that? Have you looked far enough yet? And so, let's take a step back and let's go back to the healing part. For me, my dream, what makes me happy inside is to see others be able to shine, to see their authentic version of themselves come to fruition so they can inspire the world. And so that's what this is. That's what I've come to understand about myself. And once you know, based on experience, who you are and what you can actually bring to the world, and through giving, then the receiving starts to begin. Because that is a portion, that's a universal law. That's what you give out will come back in. That's when I'm doing this, I'm referring to a magnetic field, a toroid, right? And so in experiencing life in your unique perspective, there's so many people in the world that look like you, that sound like you, that have had experiences like yours, but from your unique perspective as you, as John Smith, as Sarah Johnson, 34 years, whatever, there's only one unique experience, and you can draw from that. And that's where you can actually nourish the world, and the world will in turn, bring nourishment back to you. That's that giving and receiving energy towards that. And so when we are looking at the idea of stepping into our authenticity, we have to make sure that we're stepping into it fully, that we're taking that plunge to completion. Because if you're doing it just with one foot in the door, there's going to be a lot of uncertainty. There's not going to be any confidence behind what you're putting into what you're trying to do. And in turn, if you're only putting that, half bit of intention into it, you're actually just going to discourage yourself. You're going to feed into those fears that you're maybe trying to overcome when you're trying to be that true version of yourself, creating that, soul aligned business. And with that being said, let's look at the idea of where we need to start here. Let's say you're right at the beginning of, I know my life isn't fulfilling. I know that, or I feel that there's something deeper. There's deeper meaning to life. So, where do you start? You start with simply slowing down with what you're doing in your life. While you're working or performing the daily rhythm of, whatever you're doing, if you're taking care of kids, just slow down. And what I want you to do is just get into a observer perspective and just start to notice what it is in life that excites you, what it is in life that maybe triggers you. What is it in life that you're avoiding? The avoiding is a big one. I want to know what it is. Well, if you want to put it in the comments, that'd be great. But you don't have to. But what I'm looking for when I'm looking to dial in someone into their purpose is, what do you fear? What is it that you're avoiding? For me, it was a fear of being seen, a fear of being in the spotlight. And essentially my throat was just closed off, right? I became this very agreeable person where I could easily be pushed around. And this stemmed from situations as a child where essentially it came from abandonment wounds. It came from wounds stemming from being bullied. It came from wounds from a turbulent home where I felt like I couldn't express myself. And so for me to feel love, I needed to stop expressing myself and start adhering to what others have wanted to me for validation, because that's what I felt I had to do to deserve love, right? So I want you to start spending some time really focusing on those daily patterns with your thoughts, with your emotions, through situations with other people that arise. That's what I want to see. Journaling. Journaling is big. At the end of the day, every day, get into a routine where you're journaling for even just a few minutes every day, even if you're summarizing your day, summarizing thoughts, summarizing inspirations, summarizing what fires you up deep in your heart when you're in your thoughts, what inspires you. You need to get into a habit of writing these things down, because you can't rely on your brain to store it all. You can't. You need to write it down. Okay? So, observation, recording, introspection. Take some time. If you're into meditation, if you're not into meditation, it doesn't have to be a sort of cross-legged thing. It can be laying on the bed. It could be with your hands on your heart. Tune into your heart. It could be with your hands on your side. Whatever is most comfortable on a nice, comfy, reclining chair. Does not matter. Close your eyes. If you fall asleep, it's okay. Eyes are closed. I like my hands on my heart. I like to tune into the heart. Deep breath in through the nose. About 4 seconds in. 4-second hold. 4 seconds out. That's called a box breath. 4 seconds, 4 seconds, 4 seconds. Keep as such, right? And then once you're out, another 4 seconds in between your inhale. Again. If breathing through the nose isn't so comfortable, try in through the nose, out through the mouth. Out through the mouth can be really nice too if you're dealing with something in a moment. Just to let something go, and then real fast, let it go. Let it go. If you're feeling down, another tip too, you don't even have to do a full smile, just for 17 seconds, get those upper muscles working. Your body will produce whatever hormones, whatever chemicals. I think it's 17 seconds or something. And you will start to feel better. You will start to feel better. But yeah. Observing the thought patterns, emotional patterns, journaling, taking some time, doing some introspection. When you're introspecting, when you're meditating, what are we doing with that? So the goal is just to don't focus so much on just keeping the mind clear. I want you to think about it like this. You're doing as little work as possible when you're in this meditative state, okay? As little work as possible. Just breathe, focus on your breath. Thoughts are going to arise in your head. All you're doing with those is observing them once again. You're observing them. You're accepting them for what they are. If you need to process them, by all means process them, but don't force them out. Just observe them, process them if you need, wish them well, let them go. Right? But don't force them out. That's not what you're trying to do. And as you get better at this, your head will start to begin to clear. And this opens yourself up. Now we can get into the next discussion of what is the mechanism of you, right? So when I think of the word authenticity, when I think of the concept of personal truth, I think of the center of a circle. Circle representing your beingness, that center representing your heart space. So your heart actually has thousands of neurons. And so your heart is really like your North Star. Your heart is your guide. And when you tune into your heart, you start to understand who it is you actually are. And so the brain, acting more as the central control unit or the computer, etc., your brain is essentially the receiver. And based on your emotional state is what your receiver, your brain, is going to be picking up as for thoughts, right? And your thoughts are going to be affecting your mood. And so there's really two avenues you can go down. You could be the one in control of your emotions and your thoughts, or the outer environment can be in control of those things. All right? Most people are in a cycle where outside influences like the news, other people, situations out of their control are controlling them based on their emotional state. When we're in a state of fear, when we're in a state of lack, we're easy to control, right? We're corruptible. You look at all the weak leadership in the world today, it's because we have a lot of hollow people walking around. Let your heart be your North Star. Understand that the only thing you can control is yourself. You cannot control the people around you and what they do and what they say. You cannot control whether it rains, snows, or there's sunshine. You cannot control the stock market. You cannot control what happens at your place of work. All you control is you and how you essentially react to the world around you, right? React isn't the right word. You don't want to react. That's the point. You want to be able to take things in and let them go, right? If some person comes up to me and calls me a little stinker, a little baboon, I'm not gonna get upset about that. That's silly, right? You know, if someone comes up and insults me, it's, you know, I can't control that. I am who I am. I look the way I look. Right? A lot of the time when people cast judgment on you, that's just them reflecting their inner reality, because that's how the reality things works. Because the universe, the you in verse, acts as a mirror. The inner reality reflects the outer reality. Outer reality reflects the inner reality. As above, so below. So below, so above. And so when you start to realize that all you can control is yourself, all you can, like, you can't save anybody, right? Like, if any of you guys are getting this from anything from this video, it's because you want to better yourself, not because I'm making you better yourself, right? Like, I might be guiding, but you're doing the healing work. You're shedding the skin of your old self. You're stepping into your new reality. You're coming into your true beingness, right? And so that brings me to the last point, fear. Are you afraid? What are you afraid of to step into your new reality? Are you afraid of the loss that's associated with it? Shedding that old skin? Losing relationships with people that don't approve, that wouldn't approve of that new version of yourself? Are you afraid of ridicule? Because people don't understand? Either way, if you choose to be intentional with your time and build the life you truly desire, or if you choose to stay on the path that's unfulfilling, that's causing this ache in your beingness, in your soul, either way, you're committing to something. Understand that. Either way, you're committing to something. Are you committing to fulfillment? Are you committing to inspiring the world? Or are you committing to that old self? And so you have to choose. It can't be in between your old self and your new self. There's no gray area. It is going to be black and white. There's no gray, okay? As you're integrating your new self, there will be that gray area though. There is going to be shedding of habits, right? Old habits. There is going to be a lot of shedding of people if you're looking to step into your truth, right? There's going to be shedding of that old self that did not want to commit, that was afraid of the responsibility. But if you're here, you're gonna get it, right? So for me, the biggest fear was being seen, was stepping into the light and broadcasting myself to the world, right? To speaking my truth. And so the way I dealt with that was I just attacked it. I attacked it for more than a year, really, where I would try and make a YouTube video every day. And at the end of the day, I would try to make a YouTube video. I'd have all my gear, I'd set it up, but it would just not work out. I just couldn't commit to it because of that fear. It would stop me every time. But every time I tried, every day, darn near for a year, with, little spurts of stopping and reorganizing and trying something else or whatever. But it's just part of the process, okay? Fear, false evidence appearing real. Let me tell you, when you take that step, past that point of fear, because the only person holding you back is you, right? You can't control what that person's gonna say. To those people that are being held back by someone's opinion, you can't control what that person's gonna say. They're in your life for a reason. They're there for you. They're not there to destroy you. They're there for your growth. Do you understand? And I know it sounds weird. It sounds backwards. But that's how the world is. That's your perspective shifting through observation, right? Fear is a good thing. It is. In survival situations, of course, but for our growth. It's a great identifier of where we need to be looking, what we need to be doing, and when we feel it, that's the verge of a breakthrough. Understand that. And even if the results don't persist, say you're like me and you're filming YouTube videos, right? You post that first video and it gets 0 views. 0, zilch. Which I think that's what happened with mine. That's where you need to start to understand some of these universal laws where you need to give before receiving first, right? What you put out energetically, you get back, right? And so that's where persistence comes in. That's where learning from our mistakes comes into play. Talk to anyone who's ever been successful at anything, and the amount of practice, the amount of mistakes they've made is exponential to get to a place of expertise, right? Think of even the job you're in now and how many mistakes it took you to get to a point of expertise, right? And so fear, in my opinion, guys, it's something you just need to blast right through. But through introspection, observation, perspective shifts, you will understand where that fear comes from. It'll bring you closer to your purpose. And this is where you will start to understand the patterns and what you need to do. And then that brings us into the idea of having unwavering faith, of having patience, persistence. And so that's what we're going to talk about in our next video. What are we at here? Oh, that's a pretty long video, actually. Let me know, guys. What is, are you ready to step into your authentic self? Write in the comments. Are you working towards your truth? Is fear holding you back? Put it in the comments. Listen, if any of you guys are struggling, I would love to hear from you. I'm not going to sell you anything. Send me an email. I'll put my email in the description. Let's link up. Let's talk through email. Let's do a Zoom meeting. And I'll give you a free session. I'm not looking to sell you anything. I'm not even going to bring it up. But I want to give, right? Because service to others is service to self too, right? And this is what I genuinely love to do. Okay? I want to see you shine. I want to see you shine. Let's go. Let's do it. Throw a like, throw a subscription. If you're obliged, much love to you. And enjoy your day. Peace.